A little bit about sharing the Word of God at the nursing home. We talked about in general what it means to be a volunteer and how to cope with walking into the nursing home. It's like going into a mission field. They speak their own language. They have their own rules and regulations. It's a different kind of a culture. It's even a different kind of a food sometimes. I've seen donuts in a blender. So, I mean, there's everything that's different. It's a different world that we step into. And so when we put on the mind of, hey, this is a mission field, and that we want to adapt to that mission field in every way possible. And then last year we talked a little bit about the music at the nursing home. That's going to be different because we're ministering mainly to older people, and they're very accustomed to certain types of music and certain songs. And what reason is that? Not because they're not going to like the young people's songs, because they do. They like that. But if we leave out the old traditional hymns, we're missing an opportunity to reach in and touch a heart through that, because it stirs a memory. It stirs memories of family, of events, of sitting next to their children in church. And God can use that type of music to touch a heart in a way that you probably won't see. They've got a little movie going on in their mind when we're singing a song, The Old Rugged Cross, In the Garden, How Great Thou Art. As we're singing that, they're thinking 50 years ago when I was singing that song with my children in the church. And you're stirring something in their heart. I had a lady sitting in a meeting in the Alzheimer's unit. We get like 35 people show up at the Alzheimer's unit every single Wednesday. It's so exciting. They sing more than the people at NCF and they really have a good time, and they're smiling, and some of them don't sing, but some of them do sing. And there was a lady, she sat there and she came every week, and I never heard her say anything. I don't think I ever remember hearing her say hello, because after my time of singing, I would go and I would shake every hand and say, God bless you, Esther. God bless you, Bill. God bless you, Helen. And I would get to her and she would just shake my hand and wouldn't say anything. And one week I'm singing, I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses. All of a sudden, a year goes by, no words, this lady's singing with me. She sings every note. She sings right on key, all through 2 verses of that song. Because something in that music reached in, and it was like a key that turned in a lock, and all of a sudden her heart opened up. Because the music becomes a tool that God uses to minister the blessing of God. Tonight I wanted to just share a little bit about sharing the Word. If you have opportunities sometime, I would love to give you guys all opportunities sometime to share the Word there. Maybe you'll get a vision and say, hey, this is something I can do in another place. I'm stretched. I would love to have other workers to come with me during the week. I'm going to 4 different meetings now every single week, and I love it. But if there were more people, we could have the opportunity to do more. And one of the things that we want to do, as I think Pedro was saying, is we want to share the message. That's part of why we're there. We're there to visit. We're there to hug and kiss and shake hands and tell them we love them and that we remember them, that God cares about them. But we also want to share a message. We want to share a message about the love of Jesus Christ. So you have like a little sheet here. This is just so that you're going to remember a little bit about what we say tonight. Number 1 is keep it simple. My wife takes a lot of different kinds of medications. But if you would walk into one of the pharmacies where she goes to get the medications, you would see that even though she might be taking 2 or 3, if you walk into a Walmart pharmacy or Taylor pharmacy or any pharmacy, you're going to see there's thousands of different medications on the shelves. And what's the one that you're going to go home with? Anybody? What one are you going to go home with? You're going to walk into a pharmacy and you're going to look at the shelves, and there's thousands of different medications on those shelves. But if you're going into that pharmacy, what are you going to go home with? One. And which one?
The best.
The one the doctor prescribed. Because he knows exactly what you need today. And that's the way it is with sharing the message, is that God has a specific message that he wants to share today with the people when we go there. And here is something that I've noticed in watching myself and listening to teachings I've done, or listening to other people, because I've been in the church more than 40 years. I've heard a lot of people, I've heard great sermons, and I've heard less than great sermons. And we need to think about the fact that your message, you could have many parts. So hopefully when we're in a nursing home, you're not going to have the 16 keys to success. But it could have many parts. You might say the 5 steps to God. You might say the 3 ways to happiness, or the 4 ways that we can become a better neighbor. But no matter how many steps, keys, or levels you're going to have in your message, it always has to have one point. You have many parts, but you're only making one point. Because our time is like whoosh, limited. So it's compressed. How many has ever worked on Twitter? You ever did a tweet? Yeah. And what's unique about Twitter is different than, say, Facebook or some of these others.
140 characters.
You got 140 characters, right? And that's it. And so sometimes I want to put a tweet. Jesus is the greatest in the whole wide world. And then all of a sudden it goes bloop, 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 bloop. I got too many characters. I got to shorten until I get down to only exactly what I want to say. And it's the same in the nursing home. We want to make it simple. We want to get right to the point. The second thing I want us to think about is we got to kind of make it real to the people. Like, we don't want to go in, I'm not saying I don't believe in the Trinity, but like preaching about the truth of the Trinity in nursing home is going to just leave people with their eyes kind of glazing over, because they need to be connected to the Word, and that's the fill in there. You want to connect your listeners. I connect my listeners in like a lot of different ways. Show how it worked for you. Like if you're going to give a message, Gabriel, and I say, hey Gabe, why don't you preach the Christmas message this year? You know, you bring in a little bit of something in that 7 minutes that you're going to have to show what it means to you. I tell a lot of little stories about my life when I share. For example, I'll talk about Christmas, and I'll say, oh, I remember my first Christmas when we were married and had our little baby. We were really poor. Because Angela, you might think all of us Americans are rich guys, but we were really poor. We had a little apartment that was about this big, tiny little apartment. This is how big our living room was. And then there was a door, and it went into the kitchen on one side, and it went into the bedroom on the other side. And I didn't make very much money, and my wife was home with the baby, so she didn't make any money. And I remember we ate a lot of rice and beans, even here. And I didn't have much money, and so when it came time for Christmas, we didn't have a Christmas tree. We didn't have any decorations in the house. We didn't have any special food. We had food. We weren't starving, but we didn't have any big dinner or something. And on Christmas Eve, I got my paycheck, and I opened up the envelope, and my boss had put in a $50 bill. Well, I'll tell you what, in 1975, a $50 bill was a lot of money. I went home, and we went driving downtown. We were so happy. We were ecstatic. We went down to the Christmas tree lot where they were selling the Christmas trees, and it looked like Charlie Brown left one tree just for us. It was $5. It was the only tree left, I think. And we put that on our car. And we went down to the little Woolworths store that they don't have anymore, but it was like our little department store. There was all these Christmas bulbs that had fallen out of the packages that other people had. And they were selling them for 10 cents each. So we went in and bought them. And we still have a couple of them. Maybe 2 or 3. But we were so happy. We were so there because we had Jesus in our heart for that Christmas. You see, a story like that connects the people to the truth of the message that you're giving. Always connect your listeners to the people. And always give it time.
And see Christ whose birth the angels sing. Come adore.